So welcome inside East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee as we're just getting started with some JV matches before we get to the varsity match later on this evening. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, glad that you could join us here on YouTube on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Again, this is just the start of the JV contest before Mahwah has traveled here to take on Fort Lee. Mahwah 2-14 on the season. Fort Lee 6-9, looking for their second consecutive win here at home, as they won their last time out against arch rival Cliffside Park back on January 28th. As that will be an escape point. Now it is a 3-0 lead for Fort Lee's JV wrestler, as there will be a timeout here. Again, it's more instructional than anything else, certainly with JV matches, referees trying to explain all the rules and get to a point of getting these wrestlers familiar with all the ins and outs of the sports. A lot of times also JV wrestlers are brand new to the sport. That time it looked like it was a bit of a headbutt there. 5-1 lead right now for the Fort Lee wrestler. With time about to run out here. Still a 5-1 lead for Fort Lee. As the decision will go to Mahwah, and Mahwah will look to start here in the second with the Fort Lee wrestler on bottom. Right now the score reads 2-1, so it was incorrect. I think they're trying to reset the time as well. So they put on a fresh 2 minutes. Again, you're watching coverage of the JV versus the JV contest between Mahwah and Fort Lee. As Mahwah's wrestler trying to expose the Fort Lee wrestler to his back. Good job of squirming out of the way there, as that was close to being a pinfall opportunity. Clasp being called right now as the Fort Lee wrestler trying to get to his feet. So it's 1 point with the clasp. So I think they're trying to get things sorted out in terms of the scoreboard. What the official score should be. It looks like it might be a case of it should be officially 3-3, and it looks like they got things sorted out. So 3-3 now with 25 seconds put on the clock. After the illegal class move against Mahwah gave the point to Fort Lee. Fort Lee trying to get up to their feet here, get an escape. And in doing so, would give them the lead here. 3-3 the score. You're watching JV Wrestling leading up to our 7 p.m. showdown between Mahwah and Fort Lee here on YouTube. As again, time will expire, and that'll do it for that period, as it remains 3-3 the score. Mahwah in their signature Carolina blue. Fort Lee in their black singlets. A minute put on the clock to begin the third. Again, another clasp. Going to be charged against Mahwah, and there's the escape point for Fort Lee, as they have taken the lead now at 4-3. Now with the clasp, they make it a 5-3 lead. Now the takedown will tie it up at 5-all. Coming up on the final 30 seconds of this period. Good wrestling here in our first JV match. 5-5 the score. Fort Lee had a lead at 5-3, but the takedown has knotted up these last few seconds of this period. Fort Lee with an escape would retake the lead. It's 5-5. Doesn't look like an escape is coming here with 2 seconds left. And that will finish it off. So another minute put on the clock as it's 5-5 right now. Again, this is coverage that we're leading off with the JV match between Fort Lee and Mahwah before we get underway with the official varsity match. There's going to be the 2-point takedown, and that will finish it off in overtime here as Fort Lee will finish things off with the first win here in JV action this evening and inside East Gymnasium. So I believe they're getting things sorted out, and also Mike Rafferty, the AD here at Fort Lee, talking things over with the referee, I think just based on possibly saying who's who in terms of who should be red, who should be green, even in accordance for what's built into the scoreboard and the live stream broadcast. So after all that is sorted out, it looks like Mahwah will be officially red now. So, again, as we're trying to sort out everything here in one of the final matches of the season, still trying to sort out who's who in terms of red and green on the wristbands. So the takedown is given to Mahwah as they'll take a 2-0 lead. And then we'll have the wrestlers going back to the middle circle. So after the 2-point takedown for Mahwah, they'll take a 2-0 lead. 1:38 left to go here in the first period. In this second JV contest, Fort Lee won the first contest in overtime, 7-5 with a takedown. As they'll go back to the middle, as that was not a clear and clean escape for Fort Lee on that opportunity. So it's still a 2-point deficit for the Bridgemen. Mahwah trying to lock up that cradle inside. Riding on top. 1 minute remaining here in the first period. Still remains a 2-0 lead for Mahwah. Second JV match of the night. This will lead us to our varsity showdown. Mahwah taking on Fort Lee. Fort Lee's going to be in search of their first win against the Thunderbirds since 2017, and it's going to be a pinfall victory for Mahwah here in our second JV contest of the evening. So each school has won one JV match apiece. A decision for Fort Lee in match number 1, a pin for Mahwah in match number 2 here at the JV level. As now we'll head to our third JV match of the night. Again, Fort Lee in their home black, Mahwah in the blue. Both wrestlers still in the neutral position. Fort Lee looking to go low with a shot at the legs. Good job by Mahwah of fending off. Again, this will be the final home duel of the season for Fort Lee tonight against Mahwah, as they will conclude the team portion of their season later on this week at Hackensack. There's a takedown and a potential pin here for Fort Lee. They're trying to win the third JV match of the night and take a 2-1 advantage here in this activity tonight. Mahwah trying to stay off their back. One shoulder blade is down. Fort Lee looking for the position with 1 minute remaining in the period. Fort Lee won the first JV match by decision in overtime. Mahwah just won the second match by pin. So it was going to be near fall, was going to be the call. Some back points awarded to Fort Lee, and then looked like it was going to be a penalty point assessed against Fort Lee. So 3 back points along with the initial takedown, and then 1 point awarded to Mahwah's wrestlers. So it's a 5-1 lead for Fort Lee now. Coming up on 40 seconds left to go in the period. So it was just a replay, as it looks like they had incorrectly had the Mahwah wrestler up in neutral position. So it's going to be a restart with the Mahwah Thunderbird wrestler on bottom defensively. Still a 5-1 lead for Fort Lee. A turn of events here. Now Mahwah putting Fort Lee on its back in a position for a potential pinfall of his own. So we got the 2 point on the reversal, and now back points being counted off. Now Fort Lee trying to avoid a flip of the script here. Mahwah getting close to back-to-back pins, and this the third JV contest of the evening. 10 seconds left to go in the period. Can Fort Lee hold on and avoid losing by pin? Mahwah looking for a pin of their own. And it looks like Fort Lee will be saved by the buzzer. 3 near fall points awarded to Mahwah. So after falling behind 5-1, a quick move and a takedown, a reversal, and 3-point move turns into a 5-point move just before the end of the first period. 6-5 lead now for Mahwah's wrestler. as we will go to the start of the second period. And this our third JV contest of the night, as Mahwah's trying to win the first two JV contests, or first two of the first three, I should say, as Mahwah moving in position again for a potential pinfall. As again, Fort Lee desperately trying to keep from succumbing by pin. Mahwah in a position here, looking desperately for the pin. 17 seconds and counting left to go in the period. So now it's going to be 3 near fall points awarded to Mahwah, and then a penalty point, allowing an additional point given to Fort Lee. So a couple times now we've seen from both wrestlers having the points awarded there when it looks like it could be a potential pin coming up. So it looks like it's going to be officially what the call is. It's a 3-point move on near fall from Mahwah. Then an additional point after the Fort Lee wrestler threw an elbow. So right now it's 10-5, the advantage. Coming up on the final seconds of this second period. Again, near fall being counted off, and the buzzer sounds. And that will now lead to a 12-5 advantage heading to the third period. Again, have no fear if you're just tuning in. This is not the varsity match. You're not late for anything. Our broadcast coverage extending into the start of these JV contests as well, before getting us started for a 7 p.m. beginning of the varsity match between Mahwah and Fort Lee in the regular season home finale for the Bridgemen, as they're going to be trying to win their 7th match of the season. This was once a 5-1 lead for the Fort Lee wrestler. 11 unanswered points from Mahwah have put the Thunderbirds in position here. Stall warning now. Now Fort Lee with a shot late. 20 seconds on the clock here in the third. Mahwah trying to rotate around and have a reversal of his own. 10 seconds left to go here in the third. There's the reversal, counted off, 14-5. That's a nice victory here for Mahwah. They've won 2 of the first 3 JV contests so far here tonight. So a strong rally in this match for Mahwah after their wrestler was down 5-1. Then a big 5-point move just before the end of the first period led to that change in momentum and in the score, and Mahwah took control later on, 14-5. So we head now to our 4th JV contest of the evening. Again, Fort Lee in black, Mahwah in Carolina blue. Still wrestlers in the neutral position, locked on behind each other's necks. 30 seconds gone by here in the first. Scoreless in our 4th JV contest of the evening. Looking for the takedown. No points awarded just yet. Now 2 points. Give it to Fort Lee on the initial takedown, as they've taken the lead 2-0. Cut the legs out now, as we're coming up on a minute gone by here in the first. 2-0 lead. First match of JV went as an overtime decision for Fort Lee. Second match was won by pin by Mahwah. Third match just ended in what would have been a major decision for Mahwah, and we're here in JV match number 4. .40 left to go. Here in the first period of our fourth match, 2-0 lead for Fort Lee. Fort Lee doing a good job of preventing Mahwah from getting back to their feet for an escape point here. 20 seconds remaining in the period. Mahwah back to their feet. Fort Lee again throwing it right back down backwards. Under 5 seconds now left to go in the period. And Fort Lee will take a 2-0 advantage into the start of the second. One lone takedown accounting for the 2 points in this match. So it will be a decision for a neutral start to begin the second period. Fort Lee going for the shot low. Spinning around and still not able to find any opening. 30 seconds left here in the second period. Again, a shot low here by Fort Lee. They're looking to double up their 2-0 lead. Mahwah defensive wrestling, trying to rotate around, trying to level the score at 2-2 with the opportunity here. 10 seconds left to go in the period. 5 seconds remaining in the period. Again, another last shot there in the period for Fort Lee, trying to move their way forward. They can't do so in time, so it will end still 2-0 as we put on another minute on the clock and head to the start of the third period. Both wrestlers again in the neutral start. Two 2-0 lead on the board for Fort Lee. A Fort Lee win would have both teams split the first 4 matches here in this JV contest. Again, this is just the appetizer, getting you set for the main course of the Varsity Showdown. 7 p.m. start time here from inside East Gym. You'll be able to see all the action here on the YouTube channel run by the Fort Lee Athletic Department. Stall warning against Mahwah. Next one would result in another point. 10 seconds left to go in the period. Again, another low shot here made by Fort Lee, trying to curl around for the opening. Pushing forward. No takedown awarded, and that will do it. Will be a 2-0 win by Fort Lee, as that lone takedown in the first period will account for the low scoring advantage. So both teams have now won 2 matches apiece here with the JV, as we'll go to a 5th JV match here this evening. Fort Lee getting quickly to work. There's a takedown. They're looking for more. Mahwah squirming around, trying to keep off their back. Fort Lee looking for what would be their first win by pin here with the JV contest. Mahwah arching their back, trying to get their shoulders clear off the canvas. Fort Lee trying to put the weight on the shoulders to move them backwards and expose that back. And they do just that in time. 40 seconds into the first period. Fort Lee now with their first win by pin here at the JV in the 5th JV contest. So now Fort Lee with back-to-back wins. And Fort Lee has now won 3 of the 5 JV contests so far here tonight. As we'll see if there's going to be another JV showdown. It looks like that's going to be the case for both teams, as this will be the 6th JV contest of the evening. So now Fort Lee has won back-to-back and have won 3 out of the first 5 JV contests. Here's match number 6. Both these programs very young, trying to grow their inexperienced athletes and thinking about years and seasons to come. These JV contests here tonight. Mahwah looking to grab that first advantage. Fort Lee doing a good job of circling around, avoiding the takedown. As again, it's still scoreless as we're coming up on 1:10 remaining here in the first period. There's a shot taken low, but again, not executed to get the takedown, and Fort Lee will rotate around for the takedown themselves, and the Bridgemen will take a 2-point lead. 45 seconds now and counting left to go in the first period here of this 6th JV match of the night. Now a clasp is being called. It's going to be a point going for Mahwah. So Mahwah will get their first point of the match. It's now a 2-1 advantage for Fort Lee. Again, that's what the benefit is of these JV contests. It's that ability to teach the sport, learn from your mistakes, and have an opportunity to not have to worry about such things then in seasons to come when a lot of these guys are going to be making the bump up to the varsity level. So the clasp against Fort Lee allowed the point, and now Mahwah will escape and level the score at 2-all. So after that takedown by Fort Lee, 2 consecutive points for Mahwah has tied it up at 2-all. As we approach the final 10 seconds of the first period. Time runs out, 2-2 the score. Now Fort Lee with a choice. And looks like Fort Lee and the Bridgemen will elect to choose bottom, trying to get up and out to regain the lead at what would be 3-2. The JV format, it's 2 minutes in the first period, and then the next 2 periods are 1 minute each. For those who are watching and wondering, while in varsity matches, it's 2 minutes for each period. Fort Lee trying to get up and out. 15 seconds gone by in the second. Still, it's 2-2 the score. Fort Lee has won 3 out of the first 5 JV matches. This is the 6th match of the evening. And Fort Lee with the reversal there. When Mahwah was trying to put on the clamps and potentially pry them backwards, Fort Lee has regained the lead, this time at 4-2. Under 20 seconds left to go here in the second period. Now whistle, looks like it's a stalemate. 5.2 seconds remaining on the clock here in the second period. Mahwah wrestler being told and instructed to start on bottom. He'd love to get up and out here in the final 5 seconds to cut his deficit only to 1. Four-two lead for Fort Lee. Mahwah tried to arch the back a little bit, but ran out of time there, and now that'll send us to the third period. I thought that was the second period. So the referee was awarding the match, but that was only after the second period. So now it's going to be the start of the third period. 4-2 lead for Fort Lee. So Fort Lee trying to hold on here. Trying to make it 4 wins in the first 6 JV matches of the night. Mahwah down by a takedown. They're looking to even the score with a takedown. Fort Lee looking for the reversal. They get it. And some breathing room in the process. Under 30 seconds left to go in the third. The Bridgman lead has now grown to 6-2. That was big as Mahwah was looking for that takedown that would have tied it up potentially at 4-4. Great athletic move by the Bridgman of avoiding that and getting a reversal in the process. Time stops with 6 seconds left to go. Another clasp against Fort Lee will give Mahwah their third point. It's now a 6-3 advantage for the Bridgman with only 6.1 seconds left to go. Again, this is the JV for both sides going at it before we get underway for the start of tonight's varsity match. Another clasp, but another point will be given to Mahwah, and that will end the match here after the third period, 6-4, as Fort Lee will be victorious, as the Bridgmen have gone on a bit of a run here with their JV matches, as Fort Lee is now won 3 in a row in JV, and it looks like that might be the end of the JV contest here tonight. So we got to see a lot of JV showdown, a lot of the future for both wrestling programs, and Fort Lee victorious here tonight, and the JV level winning 4 of the 6 showdowns. So stick around. We'll be back for the start of the varsity showdown as they'll turn down the lights and put on the spotlight. It's going to be Mahwah and Fort Lee coming up next here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. So welcome back, everybody, inside East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee. The setting for our regular season finale here for the Bridgemen in the 2021-2022 home slate, as this is only going to be the fourth duel here this season. Fort Lee trying to finish off the season 2-2 at home and build off a win their last time here defending their home mat with a win against Cliffside Park back on January 28th. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Long. So glad that you could join us for our coverage of Fort Lee Wrestling here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Tonight's contest is going to be the Mahwah Thunderbirds, 2-14 on the season, have come calling to take on the Fort Lee Bridgemen, 6-9 on the season. Second to last match of the season for the Bridgemen before they will get underway in the individual slate with districts, regions, and then hopefully some Bridgemen trying to make their way into the state tournament. They will wrap up their regular season on the road against Hackensack on February 9th, but this is going to be the final home duel of the season here at East Gymnasium. This was originally scheduled for last Friday, but because of the impending icy conditions in the area, it was postponed to here Monday night under the spotlight, and we're so glad that he could join us. Fort Lee began the season at home against Ramsey, lost to Ramsey, lost to Dumont, but then got their first win at home against Cliffside Park, 48-36, in our last broadcast, which came on January 28th. Now they're going to be trying to make it 2 straight wins on the season since their last match here at home against Cliffside Park on the 28th of January. Fort Lee participated in a quad, lost against Pascack Hills, but then defeated Waldwick Midland Park in one duel and then defeated Teaneck in another, so they went 2-1 in their quad at Pascack Hills, and most recently lost in a try against Garfield and Clifton. For Mahwah, it's been a tough season for the Thunderbirds, but they'd love to find their way to a second victory against a Big North American Division rival this season. They garnered a win against Dwight Morrow earlier this season. That gave them their first win of the year at 48-24. They also lost to Dumont, 57-16. Mahwah has enjoyed their recent history against Fort Lee, having won their last 3 consecutive matchups against the Bridgemen. And Fort Lee's going to be trying to produce their first win against Mahwah since 2017. The 2 head coaches for their respective sides, Benjamin Wagman is the head man at Mahwah, and Jerry Carroll in his 7th season at the helm of the Bridgemen program.
Welcome to Fort Lee for tonight's Big North Conference wrestling match between the visiting Mahwah Thunderbirds and the Fort Lee Bridgemen. At this time, we ask you to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Dimitri Nanis and Nicole Pacciani serving as our PA announcers here tonight. Gavin Tejada expected at 106. Jasmine Yalowitz at 113. Preston Rendon or Preston Kaplan will wrestle at 120 pounds. So Spencer Edelson expected to wrestle for Mahwah at 126 against either Rendon or Kaplan. At 132 pounds, most likely you see Sam Herr. Might be expecting a lot of forfeits here tonight for Mahwah. Mike Hosdra and Connor Chung expected to link up at 138 pounds. Kobe Moskowitz, either against Austin Yalowitz or Genti Adrizi. Nick Lewis expected to be out at 150 for Mahwah. Maxim Sabalka or Ivan Garagula for Fort Lee. Jason Kelly at 157 pounds for Mahwah against either Sabalka or Garagula. At 165 expected to be Gabe Jimenez for Fort Lee. Max Gandy for Mahwah at 175. Matt Dominguez for Fort Lee. At 190, Fort Lee's going to send out Miles Beckerman.
215, Dylan Sasson versus Marius Mayer.
Marius Mayer for Mahwah, 215. Dylan Sasson for Fort Lee at 215 pounds. And at 285, Jonathan Granados Argueta for Fort Lee. And right now, it's looking like there could be potentially 7 forfeits for Mahwah here this evening. That's been a problem for the Thunderbirds, just filling their lineup. Against Dumont, they have the same issue as they had to forfeit 7 matches in the midst of their 57-16 defeat against the Huskies. The Huskies who claimed the Big North American Division Championship this season. Fort Lee in second place, followed by Cliffside Park and then Dwight Morrow. The Thunderbirds represent the Big North Patriot Division. Pascack Hills on top, Riverdale behind them, Westwood, Ramsey, and then Mahwah rounding out the field. A very competitive division. The likes of Pascack Hills and Riverdale, 2 of the better teams in North Jersey. So we're about to get underway here. Again, Fort Lee trying to snap a 3-game losing streak against Mahwah, while the Thunderbirds are going to be trying to make it 4 in a row. They last wrestled in 2020 on January 8th at Mahwah. Mahwah won that matchup 42-31 on the road. We will begin tonight at 106 pounds. Gavin Tejada coming out for Fort Lee, the freshman.
106 for Fort Lee, Gavin Tejada, unopposed.
So Tejada wins by forfeit, and Fort Lee will run out to a 6-0 lead. We're expected to have 3 straight forfeits by Mahwah to begin tonight. So now we head to 113 pounds. And it looks like it's going to be Jasmine Yalowitz coming out. Yalowitz, the junior,
From Fort Lee,
will also pick up the forfeit victory. So Fort Lee wins by forfeit of the first 2 matches, with Tejada and Yalowitz the recipients of the automatic wins. It's quickly a 12-0 Fort Lee advantage, as we'll be expecting another forfeit here at 120 pounds for Mahwah. Be a case of who will be sent out for Coach Carroll and Fort Lee, as 2 wrestlers were being lined up.
At 120, from Fort Lee, Patrick Rendon, unopposed.
So Patrick Rendon will win by forfeit at 120 pounds. So the senior, who went 1-1 this past weekend, including a 6-0 decision against Garfield, will add another win to his season total. And Fort Lee already out to an 18-0 lead as we head to 126 pounds in what would be, we're expecting our first match of the night at 126. And have to expect that it's going to be Kaplan coming out for Fort Lee.
At 126 from Mahwah, Spencer Edelson versus Preston Kaplan from Fort Lee.
So our first match of the night is going to be the fourth match. After 3 consecutive forfeits, we get to action at 126 pounds. In the blue for Mahwah, it's going to be Spencer Edelson. In the black for Fort Lee, it's going to be Preston Kaplan. Edelson is a sophomore, 1-7 on the season for Mahwah, while Preston Kaplan is a senior. Lost in both of his matches this past weekend, is trying to keep the good times rolling here for Fort Lee. Again, the Thunderbirds have won 3 straight in this rivalry. Both these teams used to be big North American Division foes a couple of seasons ago. And now Kaplan with the 2-point takedown will stake the Bridgemen out to a 2-0 advantage 40 seconds into the action. Here in the first period of 126. And then flipping the tables is Edelson. He scores the 2-point reversal, slamming Kaplan down to the mat to level the score at 2-all. 1 minute gone by here in the first period at 126. So Preston Kaplan and Spencer Edelson. Our first actual matchup of the evening. Kaplan trying to not only get free, but was also trying to look for a potential reversal, but the referee blows a whistle to the play. Potentially dangerous is the call. 49.4 seconds left to go here in the first. So if you're just joining us, fans, Fort Lee opening up this evening with 3 consecutive wins by forfeit at 106, 113, and 120. Fort Lee trying to garner their 7th win of the season. Edelson putting Kaplan on his back. 40 seconds and counting now left to go, and it's going to be 2 points. Given to Edelson. Edelson with his first lead now at 4-2. Trying to expose Kaplan to even more harm. As his sideline calling for him to run through that move. Try to peel Kaplan backwards. Kaplan just trying to allow the 2 points and trail only by 2, and now a clasp is whistled as both wrestlers go out of bounds to the top left corner. The clasp will go against Edelson, so that'll give a point to Kaplan. His deficit is only 1, 4-3, with 7.8 seconds left to go here in the period, and looks like it might be some blood time right now as Preston Kaplan being attended to by the Fort Lee trainer, Tom Herr. So Fort Lee trying to snap 2-match losing streak after losing against Garfield and Clifton over the weekend and trying to level their home record this season. This is only the 4th time that we have seen Fort Lee wrestle here at home under the bright lights. Mahwah with wins this season against Elmwood Park and Dwight Morrow, looking for what would be their 3rd win of the year. So after they're still trying to attend to everything here, might have been some blood that was initially on Kaplan for Fort Lee, and now Spencer Edelson wiped off here as well. We'll get back to the course of the action. 7.8 seconds left to go here in the first period at 126 pounds. This is our 4th bout of the night. Kaplan of Fort Lee trailing 4-3. As again, they're just trying to clean off the blood off the mat before both wrestlers can resume the action. Kaplan has an opportunity here based on that clasp call and being granted the point With a quick escape here with 7.8 seconds remaining in the period, he can level the score at 4-4 before the start of the second period. Will Edelson allow him to get to his feet up and out? Now in the weigh-in sheets, we have not seen Ryan Kosdra listed for Mahwah here tonight, and that would be a shame. Kosdra is ranked number 2 by NorthJersey.com at 132 pounds in North Jersey. There's the escape by Kaplan just before the 7 seconds elapsed. And that is a big turn of events. That'll even up the score at 4-4. So Kaplan opened up the lead with a 2-0 advantage. Then Spencer Edelson raced down to a 4-2 advantage with 4 straight of his own before Kaplan, thanks to a penalty point and then an escape, tied it up just before the end of the first 2 minutes. Just a lot of hand fighting going on through the first 20 seconds of the second period here at 1:26. First actual contest of the evening after the first 3 bouts were forfeits by Mahwah. Edelson trying to rotate around and does, and gets the 2-point lead back. Now takes a 6-4 advantage over Fort Lee's Kaplan. Rode down to the top corner of the mat. Edelson, a sophomore. As the whistle sounds with 1:05 left to go here in the second. Looks like it might be blood time again. As they'll try to load up the gauze inside the nostril to prevent the reoccurrence of blood here for Preston Kaplan. Kaplan, who was one of those seniors who was honored in their last home match as part of senior night and a part of that win against Cliffside Park. Anytime that Fort Lee is victorious against the Red Raiders, no matter the sport, it's going to feel extra sweet based on that heated rivalry. And that a nice crowd assembled here that night back in late January to celebrate the senior members of this wrestling program that were Big North American Division champions from a season ago. It was their first league title since 1983 for Coach Carroll's side. Last season, Fort Lee was co-opted with Palisades Park. This year, they're just by themselves this season. And they're about to finish up second place in the Big North American Division this season and trying to finish off with a win here at home, which would be their second win of the season at East Gymnasium. So after the second instance of blood time, it's going to be 1:05 remaining in the second. Still a 6-4 lead for Edelson. Kaplan tries to get to his feet. Edelson does a good job of throwing him back down on the mat. Looking to extend his lead. He led 4-2 near the end of the first period, but ran into trouble. He's now trying to expose Kaplan and peel him off the canvas. Kaplan being thrown back down again. Edelson in control. Again, he's getting closer and closer to get that leverage to peel Kaplan backwards. He does briefly put Kaplan on his back. Referee looking for an opportunity to see whether or not it is a pin, and the pin is given. So Spencer Edelson will pick up the first points of the night for Mahwah on their Mahwah pin. So Spencer Edelson, the sophomore, wins by pin with 25 seconds remaining in the second period at 132 pounds. And now the Fort Lee lead is cut down to 18-6 on the first win of the night by the Thunderbirds. Head to 132 pounds. This is expected to be a forfeit.
For Fort Lee at 132, Sam Herr, unopposed.
So Sam Herr will win by forfeit at 132 pounds. All bonus points so far in this matchup. As Fort Lee will extend their lead now to 24-6, and here's where we're expecting a matchup at 138 pounds.
At 138 from Mahwah, Michael Kostra. From Fort Lee, Connor Chung.
So Mike Kostra versus Connor Chung at 138 pounds. Michael Kostra, a senior, 11-8 on the season, won by pin in his matchup against Dumont over the weekend. Or in their last match, I should say, on the 2nd of February. Kostra with the takedown against Connor Chung. Chung, a sophomore. Michael Kostra getting quickly to work here, trying to secure what would be the second win by pin for Mahwah this evening. Chung desperately trying to hold him off. It's a 2-point lead for Kostra. Kostra peeling forward on Chung, exposing him to his back, right in front of his near sideline. The senior gets the pin, and that's the second pin here tonight for Mahwah. As it's Michael Kostra, the senior, with the win by pin at 138 pounds. And Fort Lee's lead is now 24-12. As we've completed our first 6 bouts of the evening.
At 144 from Mahwah, Kobe Moskowitz. And from Fort Lee, Austin Yalowitz.
So Kobe Moskowitz at 144 pounds for Mahwah, while Austin Yalowitz is going to be representing Fort Lee at 144. Yalowitz 19-3 on the season for the Bridgemen. He's ranked number 4 in the NorthJersey.com rankings at 144 pounds. Went 2-0 this past weekend for the Bridgemen. Kobe Moskowitz, 11-5 on the season. Yalowitz quickly to work. Scores the takedown and takes an initial 2-0 lead. 40 seconds into the first period. Austin Yalowitz has been the star all season long for Coach Carroll's Bridgman side. Moskowitz trying to find an escape, but Austin Yalowitz has him firm in his control. 50 seconds left to go here in the first. Yalowitz looking for what would be win number 20 on the season. He finished in 4th place in the Bergen County tournament at 144 pounds. .30 seconds left to go here in the first period. Austin Yalowitz has been in control, but still only leading by 2-0. Coming up on 15 seconds left to go in the first here at 144. And that'll do it for the first 2 minutes of action. So Moskowitz has done a nice job of limiting the damage as Yalowitz leads by only 2, and now they add the near fall at the end. So it's a 5-0 lead for Austin Yalowitz, who again is 19-3 on the season for Fort Lee, looking for win number 20. We're thinking that we were going to get a chance to see another ranked wrestler. Again, as I mentioned, Ryan Kostra for Mahwah, ranked number 2 at 132 pounds, but he's not in the lineup here tonight for the Thunderbirds. Yalowitz on top, 7-0. Could he potentially produce a pinfall here? Yalowitz looking over to his sideline to see where he can get an opportunity. He'll allow the escape. He's up 10-1 right now. Doing quick work here against Kobe Moskowitz. There's Yalowitz again using that speed. He's fended off nicely, though, by Kobe Moskowitz. There's Yalowitz, though, getting to that opportunity to return the favor, rotate around, score the takedown. Quickly cuts Moskowitz free. It's 12-2. Yalowitz working quickly here. If he can't score the pin, he definitely is going to look for the tech. Under a minute left to go in the second. Slamming him back down. It's a 14-2 advantage for now. Austin Yalowitz looking to be on his way to win number 20 of the season for the outstanding senior for the Bridgemen. Draped along the back now of Moskowitz. Yalowitz in the black for Fort Lee. Moskowitz in the blue for Mahwah. Fort Lee looking for their first win other than forfeit here tonight. 20 seconds now remaining in the second period here at 1:44. Yalowitz trying to peel Moskowitz backwards. 4 seconds left to go in the period. And the time will expire here as we will head to the third period. 12-point advantage right now for Austin Yalowitz of Fort Lee. If it gets to that margin of 15 points, then this will end at a tech fall. Both wrestlers in the neutral position to begin the third. Yalowitz again trying to use that speed to get around Moskowitz. Spun him backwards. Knocked him down for the 2-point takedown. 16-2 advantage. Cuts him free again. 16-3. So another takedown for Yalowitz would end this one. Forty seconds gone by in the third at 144 pounds. Yalowitz with the takedown and gets the pinfall as well. What a move there by Austin Yalowitz. He was not looking for the tech fall. He was looking for that finish. And in one fell swoop, he threw Moskowitz down and in the process also pinned him in the blink of an eye. So Austin Yalowitz with win number 20 on the season and does it in dominant fashion. Fort Lee with their first pin of the evening. As the Bridgemen will extend their lead now to 30-12. As we will head to 150 pounds.
At 150 from Mahwah, Nick Lewis and Ivan Garagulya.
So Nick Lewis for Mahwah. Ivan Garagulya now for Fort Lee at 150 pounds. Lewis is a senior, 14-7 on the season for Mahwah. Garagulya, a sophomore for Fort Lee. If you're just joining us, we began tonight at 106 pounds. Mahwah forfeited the first 3 weight classes of the evening at 106, 113, and 120 before we had our first match of the evening at 126 pounds. Mahwah won by pin. There's a takedown here. They're looking for what could be their third pin of the night. Near fall being counted off. Lewis looking for another win here this season for the Thunderbirds. Fort Lee trying to slip away here. Lewis is going to be whistled as it's going to be potentially dangerous as he almost was having Garagulya in a chokehold type position with his legs. So 61 seconds left to go here in the first. It's a 5-0 lead for Mahwah's Nick Lewis. But after 3 straight forfeits, a pin by Mahwah at 126, a forfeit by Mahwah at 132, another pin by Mahwah this time at 138, and most recently a pin by Fort Lee's Austin Yalowitz at 144. Potentially dangerous again, stopping that advance by Lewis. Mahwah is expected to forfeit at least 3 more weight classes here this evening. So Fort Lee in a position to lock up a win here on the team scoreboard. They just take care of business even in these matches. Trying to stay off their back though. Lewis putting his opponent briefly in the cradle. Lewis got the 2 near fall and now he pushes forward, locks him into the cradle. Lewis looking for the pin and gets it with 23.2 seconds remaining in the first. Could see that one developing. And Mahwah now with 3 pins here tonight. So all of their 3 wins by pin. The bonus points once again flying here at East Gym. So Fort Lee's lead is now 30-18 overall on the team scored.
At 157 from Mahwah, Jason Kelly. From Fort Lee, Maxim Tobolka.
So at 157, it's going to be Jason Kelly versus Maxim Sobolka. Jason Kelly is a senior, 5-14 on the year for the Thunderbirds. Maxim Sobolka, one of the seniors on Coach Carroll's side, went 1-1 this past weekend, including a forfeit victory against Garfield for Sobolka. What a great come-from-behind victory last time we saw him here in action inside East Gymnasium with a win against Cliffside Park. So Sobolka in the black, Kelly in the blue. Scoreless, 30 seconds gone by here at 157. Fort Lee's last win against Mahwah came way back on January 4th, 2017. A 36-34 victory in that duel. Fort Lee's getting the 2-point takedown by Sobolka right in front of the scorers table. The top portion of the mat. Under a minute now left to go in the first. 2-0 lead, Sobolka over Kelly. And there's a pinfall victory by Sobolka. Got Kelly airborne and elevated it enough that he could get his shoulders on the mat and picked up an acrobatic pin right in front of the top portion of the mat. So Fort Lee produces their second win by pin here tonight. We've seen 5 pins as well as 4 forfeits. Fort Lee on top 36-18 now as we head to 165 pounds. This is expected to be another Mahwah forfeit.
From Fort Lee, Gabe Jimenez, unopposed.
So the forfeit victory for Jimenez now stretches the Fort Lee lead to 42-18. Gabe Jimenez, a sophomore, who is growing in leaps and bounds as a young wrestler gets his hand raised. Fort Lee another 6 points on the board here tonight. Pins and forfeits. That's what's followed us throughout this entire night. We'll have a match here at 175 pounds. I believe it's Max Gandy who's been sent down for Mahwah here at 175.
At 175 from Mahwah, Max Gandy. From Fort Lee, Tazeen Elnez.
So Max Gandy, the sophomore, wrestling for Mahwah. Tassin Yamaz, the senior, wrestling now for Fort Lee. After it looked like with weigh-ins, it could be Dominguez wrestling tonight for Coach Carroll. Instead, he throws in Yamaz, the senior who lost by pin his last match against Waldwick Midland Park. Scores the takedown, though, to take an early 2-0 advantage. Yamaz looking now for an opportunity here against Gandy. Nothing short of 6 points scored by the teams in every match so far tonight. Yilmaz trying to continue that trend here. Can he pick up a first period pin? And he does with 1:02 remaining here in the first period. Tassin Yilmaz with the first period pin for Fort Lee. Now both teams have produced 3 pins apiece here this evening, as Fort Lee has all but assured itself the win here tonight in the duel, as we head to our final 3 matches of the evening. So Fort Lee will pick up their second win of the season here at home and will split their 4 home duels of the year, winning the last 2 of the season. So Miles Beckerman will pick up another forfeit. That's going to be the 6th forfeit of the night for Mahwah. Fort Lee now with 54 points on the scoreboard, down to the final 2 matches of the night. And this will, quite frankly, be, fans, the final match of the evening, as Mahwah is expected to forfeit at 285 as well.
At 2:15 from Mahwah, Marius Meyer versus Dylan Sasson from Fort Lee.
So Dylan Sasson for the Bridgemen, Marius Meyer for the Thunderbirds. Meyer's a sophomore and Sasson a senior. Sasson in the black, Meyer in the blue. Again, what is expected to be the final actual bouts with contenders here tonight. Meyer trying to rotate around and score 2 points initially against Sasson. Still a lot of jockeying going on between these 2 big boys on the mat. Meyer trying to lean on top of Sasson, rotate around to get that initial 2-point takedown, and after the referee allowed both wrestlers to go round and round, and eventually he calls for the stalemate, and that will end that opportunity. Now both wrestlers locked in the back of each other's necks. Not able to break free. Any opportunity just yet. Meyer trying to lock down. Sasson looking to extend his arms. Got an opportunity here. Meyer locked in, trying to snap down against Sasson. Got Sasson down to his knees. Meyer falls forward and on top, and he's looking to get the pin. Leaning forward, Sasson trying to hold on. He's got only 20 seconds to work with. And there's the pinfall as Mahwah celebrates their 4th win by pin here tonight. Marius Meyer, the sophomore, getting the win by pin at 215 pounds. Snapping that run in this duel by Fort Lee. As we head to 285 pounds, again, this is expected to be the forfeit.
At 285 from Fort Lee, Jonathan Granados, unopposed.
Jonathan Granados Sarqueta, unopposed, will get the forfeit victory, and Fort Lee will put up 60 points in this duel and will finish things off with a 60-24 win against Mahwah. And in the process, Fort Lee will win for the 2nd time this season at home and will prevail again in a final score of 60-24 over Mahwah. Their first win against the Thunderbirds since 2017. With the defeat, Mahwah will fall to 2-15 on the year. With a victory, Fort Lee will improve to 7-9. Mahwah will finish their season off at home against Beckton on the 9th, while Fort Lee will travel to Hackensack to take on Coach Carroll's alma mater and take on the Comets in their regular season finale on February 9th. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in for our final broadcast of the 2021-2022 Fort Lee wrestling season. The Bridgemen, they lost their first 2 home matches. Now they win their final 2, and in dominant fashion against Mahwah. For Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long from East Gym. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube.